Hey,
What other
Sarah.
excuse? I was just saying I put on real pants because what other excuse do I have for real pants
Well,
then?
you're one step ahead of me. You're better than me because I just have my pajamas on, so I'm not even gonna lie about it. You know,
That's totally
I
okay.
mean, a lot of us are in that same situation right now, so I don't feel bad about
Absolutely. No, oh no, don't feel bad. I just
it.
thought like I'm gonna get fancy because when else am
No,
I gonna
that's
do that?
awesome. Yeah, I put on makeup after like so many days, so I mean, yeah, let's do it. Right?
Absolutely. It
Yes.
feels good to shower
Yeah,
and
exactly. Actually get ready.
right. Like,
Yeah, such a crazy time, but I'm so happy I'm able to connect with you again. It's
yes,
been such
me
a long
too.
time.
It has been. I
Yeah.
was actually just thinking I might have to buy more comfy pants because of the massive.
Yeah, exactly. So you have enough to like trade out, right?
Right. I mean, we can't go too far down that road. We can't wear the same pants all the time. We can wear comfy
Exactly.
pants all the time, just
But
not
not
the
the same
same
ones.
comfy pants.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. That's what you're now.
Right.
Well, I'm
Well,
so glad.
yeah.
Yay, PJ Day. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm so glad to get to talk to you
I
again.
know. Same
Um,
here. It's been too long.
it has been. For those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, Noreen and I used to be neighbors-ish. We weren't really
Yeah.
that close to each other, but
Yeah.
we were a lot closer than we are now.
I
So
know.
Noreen is one of the few people in the maker community that I've actually gotten to meet in person. So
Yeah, I'm so happy we got to do that, even though it was just one time, but I'm glad I got to meet you before you left.
yes,
That
it
was
was
good.
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Noreen, would you introduce yourself a little bit and just tell us a little bit about whatever you want to share about yourself, where
Sure.
you, what you did before the craftiness, about your family, whatever you want to share.
Okay, sure. So I'm Noreen. I'm the maker behind noorsknits. Back in 2010-ish, that's when I started knitting and crocheting. Well, knitting first. My aunt taught me actually. That was the year my dad passed away, and everyone was visiting. My family was over. So she was there and she always had her like needles and hand just, knitting. And at the time, I didn't think about it, but I think it did help me cope, with his loss. And that's when I actually got into knitting. And then I started learning like new techniques on my own via YouTube, and I gave crochet a hand, but in the beginning I didn't, it was hard for me, which is funny because now I'm mostly focusing on crochet. But so in the beginning I had started an Etsy shop, so I focused on like baby items because I made a lot of things for my family and my friends, and then my yeah, everyone just said, you should start a shop, open up a shop and like sell stuff online. So I did. I opened up my Etsy shop, and then I listed a few handmade things. But then like a year into it, I realized that I really like designing things. I This was a whole new world to me, like the designing aspect of it. I didn't even know that like makers, this is something that makers do. So a year into it, I decided that that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so now I'm focusing on designing mostly. I started a blog, I have a YouTube channel. So I've kind of evolved from that, just making handmade items to sell, to actually focusing on designing and stuff. So I have a few patterns in my Etsy and my Ravelry shops. I also have a few on Lovecrafts. I'm still like trying to juggle everything and trying to get everything on each of the platforms. But then on my blog, I have a couple of free patterns, and I've done a blog hop. I think in February I hosted a blog hop, and then I'm trying to get together and do a cal. So a lot of things going on, but basically I've evolved from just like selling things through Etsy to having like a blog and a YouTube channel, things like that, to do tutorials and stuff on. So I'm mostly focusing on Tunisian crochet right now. My heart just keeps going to that, even though I sit down to like, I'm trying to be like, okay, let's get back to knitting because my name is, my brand name is Noor's Knits. That's how I started off. But I sit down and I'm like, I always get these ideas, like, and most of them are Tunisian crochet, and they're inspired by Bubs. Bubs is my little 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old. I can't believe he's gonna be 4 soon. But I find a lot of inspiration through just, like his clothes, his like, playing with him, just, random things sometimes just come to my mind.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been up to, what I do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. I just learned how to Tunisian crochet, I don't know, not even a month ago, and I'm totally obsessed. It is so
Right?
cool.
It's so
And
amazing.
okay, so
You'll get hooked.
yeah,
Yeah.
it and crochet. And so I have to ask you, do you feel like it's a mix between the two almost a little bit?
Knitting and crochet, yes, yes, I totally see that. So recently, I was working on a project for myself. I was working on the Vajra Infinity scarf. I don't know if you've seen it around, but it's by Arunima from Knitter Knotter, and it's basically done in the round. So that was my first attempt to add Tunisian crochet in the round. That's a whole other like, you know. A technique and
Hmm.
everything. So I'm trying to learn that. But her cowl is made in the round, and she has a lot of great tutorials as well on her blog and stuff too. And she does both like left-handed and right-handed. It's amazing. so
Wow.
I so I just like
Yeah.
yeah, that's something new I tried. So especially like if you're working in the round, it does feel a lot like knitting, like you said. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Bonnie blames you for her love of Tunisian
I'm
crochet?
sorry. Yeah,
Don't be
she
sorry. It's a
tested.
good
I
thing.
know she tested my Tunisian tinsel romper, which was
Oh,
my second garment for kids. So
I love
yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I'm so glad she liked it though, that she enjoyed it. So that was a big deal for me, that everyone should enjoy what they're making.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. So you told us you had kind of picked up crochet and then you had kind of let it go. Were you teaching yourself crochet or did you
Yes.
take a class?
No, I didn't really know anyone who crocheted, or like I didn't really have any classes or anything around, but I just on YouTube pretty much. Everything I learned was on YouTube, so it's amazing.
Thank goodness for
Oh, thanks.
YouTube. It's amazing.
Seriously, seriously, yeah. Even now, like when I'm
So cool.
confused about a stitch or something, I just, YouTube it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have found you have to be a little careful about your source though, because I was looking for, it was a knitting stitch, and I knew it was a decrease, and I knew it was supposed to lean a certain direction.
Hmm.
And I watched a video, and I did what they told me, and it didn't lean the right way.
Oh,
And so I went and I watched another video, and same thing. It didn't lean the
oh,
right way. And I
okay.
watched the third video, and they did something
Different.
different. They went through the stitch differently from the
Yeah.
back instead of from the front, and then it
Uh,
leaned the correct direction. And I was like,
oh,
you got to be
wow.
careful
Like
because
such a
some people are
simple
putting up,
difference. Yeah, yeah. And I
yeah,
guess you have to be very
yeah.
specific when you search sometimes too. Like, yeah, yeah. Everyone has, and everyone has their own like different way of doing like a certain stitch or like a technique. So that also makes
Hmm.
a difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like because there are so many different learners in the world, you can never
Yeah.
have too many teachers because everybody's going to find somebody who speaks their language as far as
That's
like
such
what
a
makes
good
it
way
easy
to look at it,
for
because
them to learn.
sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, there are so many people teaching the same thing. What's so different about the way I'm, doing it? But everyone brings their own, like, method of teaching, I guess, or like, their own
Yeah.
way of doing it. So I think that's a great point that you added. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about your name of your Instagram name. How I struggled so
Yes.
much to get this name. I'm just curious how people came to it.
Yeah, I don't know. This one just kind of like came to me. It just because at the time I had just learned how to, like, I was just doing knitting. I hadn't really, dived into crochet as much, and I thought, oh, I'll focus on knitting. and selling handmade knit items, and so that's where the knit part comes in. And then my name is Noreen, but for short, like my nickname is Noor, so that's where Noor's Knits comes from. And I thought about changing it to like designs or something else, but I like the way it flows. It just sounds nice and it's easy for people to pronounce and stuff. So I mean, I think for now I'm gonna keep it this way. I don't know
Yeah.
about in the future, but I think I like the way it sounds right now. So even though it's just the knits part, I'm like, you
Yeah.
know,
I totally agree. I
yeah,
like the way it
it
just
just
flows
flows.
real
Yeah, it's
nicely. So
easy to say. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
it's really nice. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
So we agreed that we would come together here today and talk a little bit about self-care. Um, I recently moved back in December, and I had kind of let self-care just go
Go.
out the window.
Yeah,
There was a lot to do, and I just felt like I'm really bad about putting myself last, and it had gotten out of control. So just
yeah,
within like the last month, I had really felt like, okay, if like I can't continue on this way. I can't
yeah,
continue
yeah.
being sleep deprived and not and only focusing on other people. And so I felt like I really need to come back to self-care a little bit.
Hmm.
And it was like serendipitous because then very shortly I saw you post, and I had seen you post before, but I saw you post about your make for yourself hashtag, and I was
Yeah.
like, of course, I should talk to Noreen about this.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that we're going to talk about this today because I think this is
Yeah.
something that's important, and I think it's something that, oh my goodness, has just like suddenly gotten harder.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the time, the things we're going through right now as like a community, globally, like just, everyone at this point, I think it's especially important that we take time for ourselves and, indulge in some self-care because otherwise you're just gonna get burnt out. That's just
Yeah.
the hard truth. Like I know it's hard right now because you might have, your kids at home and, everyone's at home, but if you just take like a few minutes out of your day and like spend it on doing something for yourself, and as makers for us to just get in a few rows of making something that in the end is for ourselves, like you're making like a scarf for yourself or like a garment for yourself. It's just rewarding, and like it just feels good that you're working towards something that you're going to wear, that you're gonna like it's for you, because a lot of times we just end up making things for everyone else, and just it's sometimes it's hard for us to like get out of that cycle, but it's important to like take some time out, especially also to like bring back your crojo or like whatever, because otherwise it's going to be hard. You might get burnt out, and like your ideas will be all over
Yeah.
the place sometimes. So that always helps me like come back and like just if I retreat and just do something for myself for a little while, then things will flow a little bit easier. Like if I have like a design idea, it's just like kind of stuck, I'm stuck at some point. It really helps. So I think it's so important to do that.
So what do you think are
Yeah.
some of the either why is it so important to take time for self-care, or what do you think are some of the negative effects of not taking time for self-care?
I can speak to that about my own experience. Like um, you may be feeling anxious, and like especially during this time, like and then it'll just build, I think, over time if you don't take a little bit of time like each day, just away from everything and like for yourself, to
Mhm.
take care of yourself basically, and you might end up like um, having difficulty just kind of like interacting with everyone else in the house. Like, sometimes you just need that
Absolutely.
space. You need to like just, do that just for yourself, for your sanity, for just like, to be able to, like, you can't fill from an empty cup. Like that's what,
Right.
what the saying
Right.
says. And it's very, very true. Um, this year has been really hard for me personally. I've experienced like loss after loss over the past few months, so it's been hard. And then this whole, COVID thing, and sometimes we have to be vulnerable, like, and just kind of tell others about our own experiences so that others don't feel alone. So I'm just letting you guys know that the past few months were really hard for me, and I had, I took that week off from Instagram because I couldn't, like, I just needed that time for myself to like to heal, to like just get through the emotions that I was feeling. And sometimes self-care can be that, taking a break when you know you need it, like just take a break. It's okay. Like the rest of the world is not going to stop, just because you took a break. So sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
remember that, but you have to do that for yourself. So
Right.
um,
I think a lot of
yeah,
times we think self-care is like um, going to the spa or getting your
yeah,
nails done. But
yeah,
I think some of the most important self-care looks like saying no.
yes,
And
absolutely,
that's
yeah,
hard. It's hard to say, no, wonderful friend, I'm not going to make that hat or whatever for
for you,
you
yeah,
by
yeah,
next week because
yeah,
I because that's not in my I'm just that's going to overwhelm me. Or even,
yeah,
and I think this is one of the hardest things to say, no, my children, I'm not going to play with you right now, or I'm not going to fulfill your every need immediately.
yeah, absolutely. That's yep.
I need to do something for myself.
Myself first, yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times we have that as mama makers, we have that feeling of guilt too that we're not giving constant attention to to our little ones. And I think it's okay for them to do something independently for a little while you get that time to yourself to, do whatever you need to do, like it's just, you
Absolutely.
can't constantly be with them. And, it might be hard if they're little, like, if you have a baby, they will be, whatever they take their, sleep when they're napping, whatever, that's your time, I guess. But like it's just you have to realize that you do need that time away from them too. I can't constantly be um, with them. So
Right,
I totally
right.
agree with you on that. Yeah, yeah.
I grew up with a maker mom. She stayed at home with us, but she
Mm-hmm.
also had seamstress business.
Oh
And
wow.
so there were definitely times, especially depending on the time of year, that like she was really busy
Mm-hmm.
and like she was not at our beck and call.
Yeah,
And so I can attest that you can let your children play alone for a while,
yeah,
safely. And
yeah,
like, I think the great thing about what I do and what you do is it's very portable. So it's
yeah.
not like I have to be
Absolutely.
locked away in a
Yeah,
specific room. I
yeah,
can take my stuff into the room that they're playing in
yeah, yeah.
and keep an eye on things, make sure they're not like cutting each other's hair or anything crazy, drawing on the
Yeah,
wall.
exactly.
But they can play by themselves, and we did that a lot as kids. And we were, I'm fine. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
mostly fine.
Mostly fine. I like that. Mostly fine.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm
Oh,
100% perfect, but I'm
yeah.
mostly
No,
fine.
I mean,
So,
yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. The work we do is very flexible and like it's portable, like you said. So, we can take breaks. We can go check on them. We can, but they can be playing on their own. So,
yeah.
that's yeah.
That's my sister who just said we're fine-ish.
Fine.
We're fine-ish.
I like that.
She's here
I like
too.
that word.
She's a functioning adult.
Exactly.
Fine-ish.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
It is.
So I think a lot of times, and I don't know, I'd be curious to talk to my mom and see how she felt. But I feel like a lot of times nowadays, especially, there's a lot
Mm,
of pressure to do the perfect thing and be the perfect thing, and And somewhere we've gotten it in our heads that like our kids will die without our every moment of attention.
I absolutely
And
feel you on that.
I will
Yeah.
say, I don't know about you, Noreen, but if if you have been giving your kids every moment of your attention and you start to say like, mom just needs like 30 minutes to read her book, that's not gonna like magically go well the first time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's not.
So don't give up. If
Yeah,
you do that, if you decide like this is something I really need to commit to, and so I'm going to start,
right,
taking 30 minutes a day where the kids are expected to play by themselves, and I'm going to, do a project for myself or read a book that I've been wanting to read. And it's a
right.
disaster the first few times. Keep going.
That's
Big,
okay.
big.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about adjusting and like getting used to, different schedules, different ways of doing things. So I think, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, yeah, you have to like try, you have to keep trying. You can't just give up if it doesn't work out the first time. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just saw a comment go by that said everybody needs time alone, and I agree with that. And one of the things that I have said that we're going to institute with this time that we're all home all the time,
Yeah.
I have said that I'm going to institute some time during the day where we all just go into our separate corners. Now, my kids are 5 and 8,
Okay.
so they can go their separate ways and be
Yeah.
fine without
Yeah.
being watched. And if your kids are smaller, that's not maybe always as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
But like, put the scissors up high, put the permanent markers up really high.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh, I
exactly.
just saw, I'm trying
Oh,
to think
about
who it
markers,
was.
last night Bubs just went crazy with them. Like he was okay for a while, he was doing his thing, and then we just kind of like turned away for a second, and there we had like marker all over, all over his
Yeah.
hand. So
Um,
yeah,
Colden, my oldest,
yeah.
they're here, so I'm not sure if he's going to hear me telling this story,
Okay,
but it's fine. He's heard me tell this story to other people before.
right.
He he is my like meticulous rule follower, so I didn't
Uh-huh.
have to worry about him too much. But one day, shortly after Benton was born, so he would have been only about 3,
Yeah.
um, he was having some quiet time in his room,
Hmm.
and I go in and look, there's this drawing on the wall, mommy, and
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, what? I was like, I'll show you. You're going to have to clean that off the wall. And I gave him a
Oh
magic
my God.
eraser
Yeah.
and it cleaned up like that. And he was
Oh,
like,
that's,
well, that
oh
was
my God.
easy.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh,
Fail. Fail.
really the punishment I need.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, even it may be I did have a friend who told me one time I always try to balance the time I get versus the time it's going to take from me. So she's like, if my kids want to take a roll of toilet paper and throw it all over the living room, and that gives me an hour,
Yeah.
and it takes me 15 minutes to clean it up, that's a good ratio.
Oh yeah. I agree. Absolutely. That
So
is a good ratio. Yeah. I
sometimes,
agree. Yeah. Yeah. You have to, yeah. It's like a give and take, and it's like, about balance. So
absolutely.
I totally get it.
Oh,
It's
my
just
kids
like,
think cleaning up the mess is just as fun. Well, send your kids over my way, Michelle.
oh my God,
I'll tell
I know, same here.
you, I do think
Oh God.
if you set fun music, say we're going to listen to 3 songs and we're going to be cleaned up by the time it's done, that can help.
Oh,
But
that, yeah, yeah, that would help.
a long tip. I actually did that to myself a few weeks ago, like a month ago. We had a
Uh,
bunch of packing stuff that
oh
needed to be.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on some fun music. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes, and there's no way I'm going to get it done in 30 minutes.
But whatever you get done, yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
I got it totally done in 30 minutes
You
with the fun music
did.
going
That's
on.
awesome. Sometimes, yeah, music is really great. I love music too. Like it really does
Yeah.
motivate you to get stuff done. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fatima says toilet paper is important these days. You're
Oh yeah.
absolutely right. I would
No, no,
not
no, don't,
recommend throwing
yeah.
don't
No
waste
toilet
toilet
paper throwing. Not right now.
maybe
Oh
tissue
man.
paper or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. What was your favorite type of self-care before COVID-19?
Well, it's still the same because I did it again today. So I should be a spokesperson for Lush because my mask.
Okay.
Like I do this mask like every couple of weeks or every week, try to. The mask of magnanimity. I don't know if you guys can see it, but um this is something that really like rejuvenates me and like just makes me feel refreshed. But it's something I do pretty regularly, I would say. So I think that's one of my like main things to do for self-care. I also like to color. I haven't done it fairly recently or like as much as I should have, but coloring coloring is just it's helped so much in the past. Like just
Yeah.
calms me down. So those are a couple
I
of
always
things
used
I
to
do. Yeah.
I always used to think that meditating was just sitting somewhere silently with
Yeah.
no sound and like doing nothing and your mind is empty. And I'm sure to some really good people like that is
It might be,
meditating, but I
yeah.
was like, I can't ever do that. I can't sit there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think doing something like that coloring is really meditative.
It is. It is
You
absolutely. It really frees your mind. You don't realize, but it actually does free your mind. Like when you're just coloring,
right.
it does
You're
help.
creating something beautiful, but it doesn't take a
Absolutely.
lot of brain power.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Inspired Firework says, and you can color with your kids, even better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Sitting
did
down with
yesterday during the day. We ended up like making cards. I had some cardstock paper, and just like folded it up in half, and there you go. We're making cards. That's what we did yesterday, like during the
that's
day.
great.
So, yeah, yeah.
We need to do some of that stuff because we need to work on writing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We've been trying to get them to, but it's hard.
Oh yeah.
It's so
And
hard, yeah.
your guy is little.
Yeah,
My 8-year-old, however, definitely needs to be
yeah.
doing some writing.
Yeah. So are they
So
able to do distance like learning through their schools right now or like what's the because I know a few
um,
people are right now. Yeah.
yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
um, the so our district went from we literally got a voicemail on Friday night
Oh wow.
saying currently, this was 2 weeks ago. Currently, the governor is saying that we will keep things open as long as possible. It's
Hmm.
our goal to stay open for as long as possible,
Right.
and so we won't be shutting until we absolutely have to.
Oh
And I was
wow.
like,
Yay.
yay!
Yeah.
And then Saturday,
Yeah.
so the next day, we
Oh
got a
my God.
message saying, nope,
Oh.
the situation has changed. You'll send your kids to school on Monday. They
Oh
will
wow.
collect all of their things and um
And just
and then you're home
wow.
until, well, they said you're home until April 16th, which is maybe it wasn't the 16th, like the 13th or something. It was
Okay.
right
Yeah.
after what our spring break was supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
So it was very quick here. So
Oh
we
yeah.
got some packets of suggested activities sent
Hmm.
home, but
Yeah.
there's no like sit them down in front of the computer and the teacher's going to teach a
Teach them,
class.
yeah. Yeah, it's like
Right
like
now,
they have to do
it's
it at their own pace and like their own work. Yeah.
and whatever I make up because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are a week in and Colden has completed all of the work they sent home.
Oh wow. That was fast.
And uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and Benton's stuff was very like practice counting to 10, and he's way past counting to 10. So
Oh wow.
we've been doing some art projects. Thankfully, here, I don't know what the situation is in Ohio, but here our governor is actually encouraging us to get outside, not with people,
Yeah,
like
but
you're not supposed
just
to play
yeah.
and stuff, like get outside, get fresh air, go for a walk. And so the boys and I went for a hike yesterday,
Oh, nice.
and I them my phone and I told them we're going to take pictures of as many things in as many colors as we can. And what they don't know is that tomorrow we're going to take that information and we're going to talk to Benton about counting. And he's going to work on tallying like all the brown things we saw, which there are a
Oh,
lot of.
wow. Yeah.
And then Colden was
Right.
working on graphing before
Oh, wow.
he finished up. So I'm going to have him take that information then and make a bar graph.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's amazing. I think you're doing great.
um,
That's so good.
well, I don't
That's a
know.
good idea.
I was gonna bring. I didn't grab them, but I was gonna bring one of the things just for fun because my boys love science. Was we're making sugar crystals,
Ooh, that sounds fun.
and we started that last Tuesday, and I set the smoke alarm off.
Uh-oh.
Because at the old house we had gas,
Oh,
a
okay.
gas stove, and
Hmm.
when you cook with gas, you turn the gas stove off and the heat is gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you have an electric stove, that
It
stays
still stays
hot even
hot.
when you
Yeah,
turn the heat off, and
yeah.
so it boiled over the whole entire stove.
Oh, no.
It was such a mess.
Oh my
So
God.
I don't want anybody to think I'm being like crazy successful here. I'm
No, no,
also
but
setting off the
you
smoke
live and you
alarm.
learn. You live and you learn. So it's good though. You're
Yeah.
trying different things, which is really, really good. I think that's great. Yeah.
We have Colden's parent teacher conference on Thursday night. So tomorrow
Oh,
night, remember that
wow.
tomorrow night. So I'll be curious to see what the teacher has to say if they're like trying
Oh,
to set
yeah.
up some sort of distance
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
because that would be lovely to have some
Yeah.
direction about what we
Yeah.
should be doing.
Yeah, that would be good.
So
Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Gotta
see.
say fingers. Yeah.
So you said your favorite self-care currently is doing your face mask.
Yeah. And like
Um,
coloring and today getting dressed up and doing makeup. I love doing makeup too, so I think this feels good. It's been a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for people while we're all kind of at different levels of stuck at home for fitting in some self-care?
Yeah, I would say just, try to take like a few minutes, even if it's just a few minutes. I think it's important. Like if you like reading, read read like a page or two pages. If you want to go out, you can go out. It's not like we're completely. I think it's like I think people are fearful of going outside maybe, but you can still go outside to like, experience nature and things like that, but you just have to keep your distance, right? Like, and make sure you wash your hands and stuff after you come back. But I think
Right.
it's important to do that. I need to do this myself. I need to go out and go for a walk or something. But go
Yeah.
for a walk. Just or if you want to be staying at home and you don't want to go out, you can always like take some coloring pages and just you can even print some really great pages off online and just like color for a little while. Do the face mask like I showed you.
Yeah.
For me also, like I love drinking herbal teas. I don't know if that's something that you like as well, Sarah, but I love
Yeah.
herbal teas. So like, just sit down with some tea, like just for a few minutes, that helps me a lot to like just calm down and like, just take a breath.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So things like that. It can be something small. It doesn't have to be like a huge thing that you do, outside of your regular routine. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want to say. Like just, take a few minutes, even if it's just a few minutes, but make sure you do
Yeah.
something for yourself that is not
Yes.
that you're
And
doing for someone else.
right. And I think I am notorious for being bad about hydrating myself.
Oh yeah,
So
me
I
too.
have been trying to drink more
Cheers,
water.
cyber cheers.
Yes, cheers. Drink more water, and tea and things like that that are good for you. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
I probably could drink soda all day long, but
Oh no,
that's
no,
not good.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and um, And I agree with getting outside, even if I know in some places you're not allowed to leave your yard, but
Yeah.
even just getting outside for a little bit, and
Yeah.
I think the fresh air and if there's sun, the
Oh,
sunshine,
today it's
it
nice
is,
outside. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
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 Thankfully, we're heading, I mean, how awful would this have been if this had happened at fall?
Oh my God. The winter.
Because
Oh
thankfully
gosh.
we're heading up into the
That would have
nice
been bad.
weather instead
Yeah.
of going
Down.
down into bad
Exactly.
weather.
Exactly.
So hopefully
Yeah.
it'll get nicer and nicer.
Hopefully,
We
yeah.
attempted to take a walk earlier today, and the boys decided they were going to ride their scooters, which is
That's
it's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
I spend
Yeah.
most of the time chasing them though because they go faster than I
That's
do.
what your story was. I watched your story right before we went live. You're like trying to keep up with these hooligans. I was
And
like,
that lasted about 2 minutes
oh
because
gosh.
Benton fell off his scooter and scraped
Oh
his knee until he had
no.
to run.
Oh.
But um, Brian, my husband, is still working. Um, and I'm going to text him when we're done here and I'm going to tell him I will have dinner ready when you get home, but I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I am trying to get out and walk and move my body every day
No,
because
that's
it
so
just feels better.
important. Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know about you, but like I feel like being stuck at home has lended itself to me sitting a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like my mind has been very busy, but my body hasn't been as busy. And so
I totally agree. Yeah.
I go to bed, I'm tired, but because I'm not as physically tired, I was having trouble sleeping,
Yeah.
trouble going to sleep, trouble staying asleep. And since I have started getting out and walking, I
It's
feel like
so.
because I'm more physically tired, the sleep
It
is
helps.
easier. And I don't know about you, but I get real cranky when I'm not sleeping well.
Yeah.
and and
I,
that's no good for
that's
anybody.
something I need to work on because I'm on the opposite side where I am a late sleeper and I like mornings are just, hard for me in general. But I need to sleep earlier. Something I definitely need to work on. But yeah, getting out will definitely help with that. So it's another
Yeah.
reason to like, yeah, yeah.
So tell us about your make for yourself hashtag and how you got that. What inspired you? Because I know this has been going on for a while now. This wasn't something you just came up with. So can
Yeah,
you tell us a little bit about why you started it and how
sure.
people can join in?
Sure, sure. So, the end of last year, I believe, I was just like, I think I was feeling that burnout from just like making constantly for, for the business, for others, for just like, just not something like mindless or for myself. So I felt
Mm-hmm.
that burnout. I thought, you know what? I think it's important for me to take some time aside and just make something that I will be wearing or that I is for me, not for my business or like for others or anything like that, but just something that I can spend time on at my own pace and just kind of go with the flow and just something
Yeah.
mindful, basically, just kind of like, just relax while making. So that's when I came up with the idea. I'm like, you know what? I think this is something a lot of makers, struggle with because we're constantly just, making things for others. Or like if we have a business and we're designing and things like that, we're constantly just coming up with ideas and we're making things. But in the end, it's like, it's just like it keeps going and going and going. And like there needs to be a pause somewhere so that we don't get burnt out and we don't, so that we can still have, so we can feel inspired and continue designing or doing the things we do for our businesses. So I think it's important to take that time aside and make something for ourselves. So I created the hashtag in the hopes to inspire others and just kind of like get everyone on that same page where we not don't think of it as selfish knitting or selfish crocheting. Think of it more of something you're just making for yourself. So make for yourself. Kind of
Yeah.
like treat yourself.
Yeah,
So
and that's
that's
such
what
an
it is.
important point because I think um, I think people um, don't always think about how we say things, but I think there's power in that. And when we call doing something for ourselves selfish,
Yeah.
um, even if our intention, even if it's just kind of like silly and flippant,
Yeah.
there's power behind saying, I'm being selfish by taking time for myself. So I
Yeah.
love that that your initiative and your hashtag is mindful of the wording and the fact that it's not selfish. It's important.
Yeah.
You said it combats burnout. It helps you learn new things.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
inspires you. It
Yeah.
clears your mind. It makes you feel good. Those are all important and necessary parts of making and being a balanced person. So
Absolutely.
that's wonderful. I love that you were really mindful of the wording you used.
Yeah, and I think it's important to get away from that, like, thinking of it as something selfish rather than something that is necessary that you need to do to like just reset kind of. So, and I really appreciate everyone. I don't know if people have joined in who are using the hashtag, and I really appreciate that, and I would love to continue seeing your work and sharing it with other makers to just inspire everybody to kind of make something for themselves. So yeah, if you look under the hashtag, you'll see. So it's MAKEFOYOSELF, make for yourself. You can check out the hashtag and just kind of see all the projects and get inspired, basically, to make something for yourself, hopefully. So a couple of things I'm working on for myself right now. I don't know if you guys know. I love Tinderbox. That's her handle, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are Jasmine Pants. So they're supposed to be like really fun pants.
Oh,
So I'm really excited
I've seen
about these. I
those.
saw them, I'm like, oh my God, I need to make these. So it's slow progress, but it's happening. I'm making so like a few rows at a time and just kind of. So that's one thing. And then so testing for me sometimes is that type of self-care and making something for myself, even though it's not for me, it's for Bubs, but it's helped me. Like I'm working on the test for the Llama Love sweater by Claire from Eclair Bakery, and it's just so fun to work up, and I love it. And she has given a really like long like a long time for us to complete it, just so that everyone can get everything in in a timely fashion. But she has given like a deadline that's like in April, like I think near the end of mid or end of April. And so I have time, and I wanted to make it, and I was like, I'm so happy I took it on because it's been fun. It's been really fun
Oh,
working
good.
it up. So those are a couple of things I'm working on for myself. So if
You
you
had
want to
mentioned
share,
that.
I'd love to see like your things that you're
Oh,
working
right.
on.
Okay. So Noreen and I have been talking for a little while about like what we were going to talk about and what we were going to share, and she said, "Well, let's share what we're making for ourselves." And I thought, "Oh, I am not good at this." Now, I will say, so I I feel back and forth about testing whether it's really for myself or not, just
Okay,
because depending on what it is, sometimes testing can be stressful.
I agree. Yeah,
And I
sometimes it
think
can be.
if the test is fun, like what you're saying, and like inspiring, and like, oh, this is so much
Yeah.
fun and so cool, that I would definitely consider that doing it for yourself. But I was trying to think when the last time I finished a project that was not a test and not a design. And I didn't actually bring it down, but I think the last project that I actually finished that was just because I saw it and wanted to do it was oh gosh, I think it was almost a year ago.
Oh my God, Sarah.
I know. So I knit my very first sweater, and
Yeah.
so my ranunculus sweater. I'll put it up
Oh
in my
yeah. I started that. I started that with you. Remember we talked about it? I
yeah,
started, but
yes,
it's in my whip pile.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
there.
So
It's
that was
there.
probably my last thing that I finished.
Yeah.
I have my I couldn't find where I put it. It might be in my basket of a project bags back
Yeah.
here. But I've been working on for quite a while since last fall my I think it's pronounced Orangestad shawl by Lavanya
Ooh.
Patriciella. But
Oh.
it's like fingering weight and
Oh
like I'm up to
gosh.
like 400 stitches and so that takes a
Wow.
while. But
Yeah.
I did pull out the last one I probably started was the Aperture Caldana by Rebecca of A Raging Whirlwind.
Ooh.
And this is
That looks
hedgehog
so
fiber.
beautiful. I'm loving the
Yeah,
texture, the different texture. That's
it
amazing. Wow.
it's hedgehog fiber yarn in
Ooh.
all of my favorite colors. It's got like the
Oh my
blues and the
goodness. Yeah, you're
teals
all
and the
about the blues, I
greens and
remember.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
um,
gorgeous. Yeah.
I didn't finish. I have not. That's a very attainable project, I feel like. But
Hmm.
the needles that I currently have it on are metal needles, and I'm just having a hard time with the stitches slipping off and with
Oh
the
wow. Yeah.
I think I just really need to buy different needles and it'll be
Hmm.
easier. The tips
Right.
of the needles are super pointy and the stitches are really little, so I'm having trouble splitting the yarn. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
that's probably what I'm making for myself currently.
That's good though. I mean, like I think as long as you have something going, I think that's
Yeah.
the point. Like just to have something that you can turn to when you need to just take a moment. So I think that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Thanks. So, um, so yeah, I would encourage everybody to find a project that you can do for yourself. I am working on a pattern that my goal is to publish in early April, which is like coming
Ooh,
fast.
yeah.
And so I have been telling myself, I've been telling myself that I'm not allowed to do anything
Uh-oh.
else until I get that done.
Hmm.
But the next thing I'd like to finish, hopefully, is I've started swatching for my Weekender sweater by Andrea
Ooh.
McCurry, and
Yeah,
I
she
have this
has amazing
beautiful
patterns.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She has some
so
gorgeous.
that's my
Yeah.
next for yourself goal.
Okay. Well, yeah, as long as you have something in mind, I think, and we're working towards it. That's the important part.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm working on. Is there
That's
anything else
awesome.
that you're working on that you'd like to share?
Yes, something exciting that I hope everyone will like. It's my first time. So I've been thinking about this for a really long time, and I've wanted to host a crochet along, and I was nervous, but I did it. I published a blog post. Um, so I created a Facebook group. Yeah, that's something totally new to me too, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but I took the first step and I did it. Like just a place for everyone to connect, and if I ever host like crochet alongs, knit alongs, anything like that, just to like have a group where people can just connect with each other and like work on stuff together. So my very first Tunisian crochet along is for Mr. Bubsy the Bunny.
Oh, that's so cute.
So he's made with burlap blanket yarn. So if you have any of that lying around, and some gopher faux. And then for the embroidery, I used um, the Lily Sugar and Cream cotton yarn.
Okay.
So it's just three basic yarns, and then you can like use like an embellishment for, the neck. Like you could do a bow tie, or I just use a little ribbon for a sash. And then, that's it. It's very easy. I'm
Oh my
hoping it's
gosh.
easy. It's a beginner-friendly project. And I'm doing it in parts. So it's going to be a three-part series on YouTube. So I'm hoping to release the first part on Friday. I've already posted all the details and everything on my blog post, which is at the link in my bio. But you can find everything there, and you can join the Facebook group so that we can all work on it together. But it's going to be completely free, like it's going to be on YouTube. So I would appreciate if you joined in and made it if you have it in your stash, if you have the yarn in your stash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Bubsy the bunny.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yay for going ahead and diving into something new. That's
Completely
awesome.
new, and I'm
I
terrified, but
love
I'm
it.
just gonna do it. We'll see how it goes, Take the first
Yeah,
step and just, go with it. So, so yeah. And
absolutely.
then I also have a total of 10 patterns are free right now in my Ravelry store, in response to the fact that we're all stuck at home and we are needing things to do. So I just decided I'll make a few of my patterns free. So I have a total of 10 patterns that are free on my Ravelry. And there's a highlight in my highlight section on my profile that you can check out to see which patterns. I think I have a couple of knitting as well as mostly crochet, but a couple of knitting ones as well. So if you're interested, you can check it out and you can download them. And you have until Monday night at midnight. That's when the like promotion ends. So that's another thing going on right now with me. So I really hope you
That's
find
awesome.
something to like make for yourself in those patterns or just anything, and definitely use the hashtag and tag me and stuff so I can see and share with everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So much fun stuff going on. So
it
I will,
is.
you're one of my followers and are not currently following Noreen, I'll post a story after this and I will tag you, I'll tag Noreen in it, and you just go on, you click on that and it'll take you straight to her profile and you can follow her and check out her free patterns and her Tunisian crochet along. We just did, myself and Caitlin of Wildwood Designs ME just are wrapping up Tunisian crochet along. So
I
if you
saw
took part
that.
in
I
that,
thought it was so
I'm
amazing
sure,
that you guys did that in parts and everything, and I really love that. I think that was such a great idea. I think it's
yeah. So
so
now
fun
a
to
bunch of
like
new people.
collaborate. Yeah, I think it's so fun to like just collaborate and work on these things together. Like it makes such a big difference. Like the sense of community and everything. I've loved connecting with everyone. So it's awesome. Love the maker
Yes,
community.
absolutely. So we should have some new Tunisian people who can go check out your crochet along
That'd
now
be
and learn some
awesome.
new
Thanks
skills,
so much.
expand
And
their.
yeah, and if you're joining from my side, I'm gonna link to Sarah's profile as well, and you can check out all her amazing things that she's doing. Like I've loved watching your like the lives, the series that you did on testing. I think that was such a great idea, and I think that was something much needed. Like people, sometimes it's confusing the world of testing. So I
Yes,
think it's great you
yeah.
did that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, we are almost out of time here,
All
so I want to be
right.
able, before we go, to say thank you so much. It's been so wonderful chatting with you. I really
Same
appreciate
here.
all you're doing to bring positivity and mindfulness to the crochet community. You're such a wonderful maker and a wonderful friend, so
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you
glad we
so
got
much,
to talk.
Sarah. Me too.
Thank
I've loved
you.
connecting with you. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Stay safe and stay healthy, everybody.
Same
And
with
we'll
me.
talk
Yep.
again soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.